Hello everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this card making tutorial. This is the card we're making today. Isn't it pretty? It features the Bloom Boutique Designer Series paper as well as the Boutique Blossoms die set. And now this card came from the fact that I had quite a few scraps left over after making lots of other projects using this gorgeous paper. I wanted a fun way to use up my scraps, and this is what I came up with, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So let's make another one. I've got plenty more scraps to use up. Right, let's start. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of stamping, and I've got a scrap here of basic white cardstock. And the stamp set I'm going to use is Opulent Oasis. I'm just getting it out. Is this one? I'm going to use Best Wishes here. So let's get it out from here. Where is it? Here it is. Right. So right here on the end. Easy to find. And then just going to line it up on my grid paper as always. And then I'm going to use a block to stamp with. So if your block feels a bit narrow, do it point to point, and that gives you the diagonal, and it gives you more space. I think I'm going to stamp in Peaceful Pie. So let's use that one and give it a good ink up. And just stamp that Best Wishes. Lovely. And let's give everything a clean up while we go at it. I don't know why that's sticking to my simple chamois. There we go. And get rid of the block. And put this back at this little home so we don't lose it. Don't want to lose our lovely stamp sets. So these, as I said, are the new magnetic ink pads. At the moment, they're only available in the new ink colours, but I just wanted to show you how wonderful these are. If you shake it like this, as you can see, it doesn't fall off the lid. They stack because they are magnetic. You can see here I've got two stacked together. Nothing's falling off. If you're like me and you like to sometimes take your ink to your stamp, this can be a little bit thin to hold. All you need to do is flip the lid upside down so you've got a double hold, and then you can find you have much more to hold when you want to ink up. So and you've got yours again, you've got your labels to put on. You can put them on both sides, so they are really fabulous, and they stamp beautifully, as you can see. We're going to set that aside to dry, leave it to dry a little bit. We're going to bring in the rest of our pieces here. Right, we have two pieces of basic white. Now all the measurements will be on the blog post. You can find the link to that in the description box below, as well as all of the supplies that I'm going to use today are listed and linked to my online shop, so you can make this card for yourself. So now my card base here is a new ink color, and this is called, I always get it wrong, I have to look it up again. Look at it and see what it is. Barely Blush. I do love the names Stampin' Up comes up with for their colours. They're so unique. So this is Barely Blush. And we stamped in Peaceful Pie, which was also obviously a new ink colour as well. Right, so now we've got a piece on the front and a piece on the back. So now I want to create a few pieces here that are going to layer on top of each other. So let's have a look at what I've got here. As you can see, I've got a whole collection of scraps that I brought, that I've got for my collection to try and use up. So let's see. This is pretty. I love it. You've got gold foiling on one side, as you can see, and then you've got plain on the other. So let's see. Do we want to have three pieces like that? or do we want to have a different variety of colours? This is another colour, the crisp cantaloupe, that's come back in. So let's see. We could have that as our base. That would sort of, that fits there. So let's stick this down. Well, that's pretty as well, isn't it? Sometimes it's difficult to know which side to use. So we're going to stick this down. I'm going to stick this at an angle, like that. And then I think I'm going to stick this one down at this angle here. And I'm not going to give measurements for these pieces because I haven't measured them. They're just scraps that I've got. And then we can have this on top, but I don't like that one on top. This is more of a contrast. Let's see what else I've got here. You know what, I'm going to use a little bit of this. So I'm going to get my trimmer and I'm going to trim. Put it in the right way. I don't know how much to trim. Maybe around there. And I just like the contrast in colours here. Yeah, that will should do. I'm going to bring this down a bit further, I think. So I'm going to have this one sort of straight. And let's see what else I've got here. I could use up, I like being able to use up some of these small little pieces like this. Let's see if we could use this up somewhere. Yeah, let's use this up here. So it's just a tiny strip that I kept. I tend to keep every little bit of really nice pattern paper. And so sometimes I've got tiny little pieces like this to use up. Let's see if we've got any more little bits. These are quite big bits here, so save those for another day. But here we've got some small little pieces. So let's see maybe what we could use. Maybe we could put some more green in here. So about there. Should we cut that off and see? See what that looks like. I'm just going to tuck it in here. There we go. And just with a little bit, it looks like it's meant to be. Look, that's how it was created. I'm going to tuck a bit more there. Just building the layers up. My glue is fighting me here. That'll do. I'm filming late at night and I think it wants to go to sleep. Okay, so I think that's going to be enough as good as a piece. Sometimes you don't know when to stop, but I think that's going to be enough. Well, actually, I quite like that now. Told you, don't know when to stop. Yeah, that will be enough, I think. But all is not lost. Let's see. Will this piece fit? It will. Let's decorate the inside with this piece here. One along the bottom like that. And then one on top. And we've used up all those little pieces of scrap. Isn't that great? I love it when you can use up all your pieces of scrap. And I think matching them and so that you just have little scraps poking out is a great trick and way to use up scrap. So there we have our base. So now we can start to build the rest of our card. So first things first, I think we're going to cut out our sentiment. So let's do that now. And just going to use my trimmer to do that. And I'm going to cut quite close to the image, to the sentiment here. That'll be enough for another day. And I don't measure. So that will do. Let's have a look and see. I think it'll be fine like that. I don't think it needs to be popped up. But let's have a look and see if we popped it up. Yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's use up the scrap here and pop this up as well. Why not? I don't know if I want this colour now. I'm thinking to myself, what else have I got? I've got so much scraps. That's too small, but this would do. This will do nicely. Just to have a little border around it. So let's just cut around it with my scissors. I'm not getting the trimmer out just for this. Right, there we go. Now we need to build our flower. You can see here I've got my focal image, so let's pop this up on some dimensionals. So I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. So I've got here some edges. I want to use these up. So let's see. Edges are all good dimension. Make sure you use every bit of your sheet of dimensionals. Don't waste anything. We're crafters after all. We don't like to waste. We save everything and we use everything. So all good dimensions. So let's put this down now. Preferably on the card and not on myself. Get rid of that. I think that looks fine. Right. Let me keep that. I cut out from the Blossom, the Boutique Blossom. This is a stamp set. And there are matching dies. Here they are. So I cut out these two flowers and then all the foliage. The flowers are cut out of, oh, I've lost the name again. Bashful Blush or Bashful? Barely Blush. I'll remember it someday. Anyway, so what I thought I would do is just ink around this a little bit. So let's get a sponge dauber out. And let's bring in our ink pad here. And I'm just going to sponge around the edges. You can see the pad works fine for ink blending and sponging and stuff. These are on back. We've gone back. We did have foam pads before. We've gone back to what I call the linen pads that we used to have. When I joined Stampin' Up back in 2012, we had linen pads. And so this goes back to how it was then. So there we go. I'm going to add that little bit there. I'm not going to do any ink blending for the leaves. I think they'll be fine the way they are. Sorry if my everything is on the camera. Where's my foam palettes? I think I should have another sheet. I do. So I'm just going to put one in the center of each flower. I'm going to can put more later on. And then I just want to put them in this corner here in a little cluster. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, like that I think looks a-okay. And then we are going to use some leaves. And I've got the leaves cut out here. So I'm just going to decide where you want to put them. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on here, not much. If my glue wants to work, that is. Come on, glue. Please work. Okay, I've changed glue to this other glue. And I hope it will work better today, especially on these fine little elements. I'm just going to put a bit more glue here. Not much. I'm just going to stick a leaf down there. I think we want something here to come out here. So let's just do that. I think that is going to be fine for me. I don't think I'm going to want anything more. Say that. I like that. So we will put something else down. There we go. I think that's not as good as a feast. So let's move it aside. Now you can see with my flower, it doesn't have a lot of dimension on the sides, and I don't like that. I like it to be nicely puffed up. So after I've finished tucking, I tend to go in with the odd dimensional and just take backings off both sides and then tuck them in just to make sure my adhesive and my dimension is nice and nice and even, because I don't want it to get squashed when it goes to the post. I want it to still look half decent after it's been through Royal Mail's rollers. So I'm just taking a few here, as you can see, and just doing that. Okay, so finishing touches, I've got here some of the in-coloured dots. You could use whatever you want. And I'm going to get my pokey tool, and I'm just going to put a few here and there. Maybe not all in the same colour either. That would be nice. We varied the colours. So let's put one there. And then maybe another pink one. Just there. So there you can see. There are the two cards I've made using up scraps. So I hope you enjoyed this project featuring the Blossoms Boutique and Boutique Blossoms products from Stampin' Up. I hope this has given you some great tips and tricks to use up your scraps. So remember, don't throw away your scraps. There's always a great and creative way to use them. So thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.